Hey there, everybody. It's Sunday, Merced Crit, the day after Snelling. This is the 45 plus, 1, 2, 3. We are down to, I don't know, the last 12 minutes or so. No breaks have gone off so far. It's pretty small field, but good riders here today. Make-A-Wish has a few guys. I think they had 3 or 4 guys. Dennis, Sean, and Rick. We have one guy from Folsom, Cameron, pretty strong rider. I have 3 teammates with me, so there's 4 of us. I have my teammate Andrew Knuckles, Bart Clifford, who's still coming back from injury, so he's not at 100%, but he definitely wanted to come out and race. And John Lance, who's riding really strong right now. So our game plan from the start in this race was to just keep everything together, mark all the major moves, make sure he's either in it or bring it back. He was the guy we were setting up today. A lot of the races, it's all about Bart and myself because we're usually on form and sprinting. But John's always right there. So, and he's been riding so strong. So we said, "You're up, dude." So Cognition had 2 riders, and they were attacking at random to try to get away. A lot of the teams that don't have sprinters, Jerome Nadell, that's him right in front of me. He had a teammate, James Emmerite. Sorry, James was in the second race. He was in the 35 race. Jerome was by himself. He didn't have any teammates. So this is it's like a technical little course. You can see the road on the backside here is really rough. It's a kind of a street with a median down the middle, so it's only one side, so it's one lane on this side, and then the front stretch was very, very wide and safe and pretty smooth. But this section here was, is at your own risk. Just like Snelling yesterday, the roads were just atrocious in the start-finish line with potholes. There's a pothole on the left here that I hit in the 35 race and burped out most of the air out of my tubeless tire. It held and I was able to finish, but it was like down to 20 psi. This race I had no issues, no mechanicals. The first lap of Snelling I hit a pothole and blew out the sidewall of my front tubeless, so I had a borrowed tire from Bart, brought a tire up for me, so I have tubes on the front and tubeless on the back, and I'm just hoping I don't get a pinch flat. So I do have one other teammate, Andrew, who is a really strong, just a hammer, and he's on the front right now. And we had talked before the race that if he doesn't get away in a break, that he's just going to ride a steady tempo. Since we're already down to lap cards, I think we're down to like 10 laps to go. I told him just to go on the front and just ride a steady tempo. So he's going to ride, 24 or 25 miles an hour, just steady. And he can do that all day long. And the reason for that is it lets John and I rest, and it keeps the pace steady, and it also keeps most of the people from attacking. There's still going to be a few attacks. I mean, that's just a given. But then all you need to do really is just up the tempo a little bit, because he can go pretty deep if he needs to. You just up the tempo a little bit and just reel him back in. And my job too is to watch any dangerous moves, and I'll just go to the front, and just reel it back in. Now, before I started recording, you had seen Sean Smith from Make-A-Wish and Dennis Hop in front of me here. They both were attacking in tandem and trying to get away. Jerome was racing really smart. He just kind of hung back and just he knew that we were working for John, so he didn't need to do a whole lot. And he raced really smart. That's how he ended up getting second place. But I could tell from the last few laps that Make-A-Wish definitely wanted to do a lead out. It looked like they were going to do a lead out for Dennis. He was following Sean around. Sean was very vigilant, riding towards the front. Cameron from Folsom also was just riding really smart. I just had a feeling that he was going to be one of the danger guys to watch. Every major move, he was either in it or he was bringing it back really quick. Just riding really smart for having no teammates. In the 35 race, he had quite a few teammates. So they actually had a pretty solid team that made for a really exciting race, which I will post that one next. But this is a little alleyway here. On the left-hand side, there's potholes. On the right-hand side, there's sandy, gravelish stuff. So you had to really be careful. I kind of found a line that I could take where it was pretty safe, even at speed. So I tended to just kind of stay on the right-hand side through the alley and miss the pothole and the craters. The start-finish line, there was a few areas where there was some rough pavement and some seams. You just had to know. You can kind of see to the right and to the left. You know, there's some pretty deep sections that you just had to be careful and know where they were, and then it was fine. So if you rode right down the middle, most of the time it was just fine. My teammate Bart was on the back. I didn't realize it. I didn't even know if he was still in the race, to be honest, because we hadn't seen him the whole race. And then he just kind of popped up in the last lap and helped us with the lead out. So you'll see that as we get into the last lap. The pace is staying pretty steady, you know. Andrew's just riding a hard tempo at the front, and everybody's just content to follow him. So, and then there goes Matt Sloan from Cognition, and but they're all over him, you know. And Andrew's done his. He's going to take a little breather here. So I go inside and I say, inside Andrew through the alley here. And then if we don't bring him back, I will go to the front myself. I'm talking to John. John's right behind me. He's on my wheel. And we're communicating. And I'm just letting him know. I said, just don't worry. I got this. You know, nothing's going to get away unless we want it to. I was pretty fresh because I only got 11 miles into the road race yesterday, so a lot of these guys did the full race at Snelling, so they're not quite as fresh as I am. So I figured I might as well put myself to work. I really wanted to save myself for a good lead out. I wanted to go at least a full lap, if not most of a lap, and just deliver. Getting through the alleyway is the toughest part. If you can keep it fast and safe and strung out, then there's no bunch ups and it's not going to cause a crash, and there's not people trying to move up when they think they can win. And that's the beauty of having teammates. When you have teammates that can just ride a hard, steady tempo. So Matthew gets brought back, and here comes Andrew again. I just tell him, just go to the front and ride some tempo. Oh, that's right. No, he came up beside us, and John freaked out a little bit and yelled at me. And I'm like, oh, it's just Andrew. Calm down. So now we're heading into the alley here. I think this might be going into Bell Lap. Mike Charlton, who's multiple state champion, almost a national champion this last year. He was riding really well. He got most of the preems. I thought, okay, he's gonna go early too, so we need to keep. So I'm moving up here. This is going into bell lap. Bart's gonna pop in front of me right here. There he is. So I jump on his wheel, and Johnny's right behind me, and we're just gonna line it up. And I'm like, go Bart, and he's got about a half a lap in him. You know, he doesn't quite have the fitness yet. He's just. This is actually his second race back since his crash, so he's gonna go as hard as he can. As he takes me through turn 2 here, his gears kind of flub up, and so instead of waiting for him to get it back on and get jumped right here, something happens to his gears, so I just go past him. I'm like, I got it. That's not very far. You know, I know that I can do this part, so I just try to string it out smooth and fast. The trick with doing a lead out is to not accelerate too hard. You don't want to drop your sprinter, so you want to accelerate smooth, but you want to go fast. And I make a good draft, so I want to go wide and take a really safe line through the alley here. Stay to the right, and then cut the corner as much as I can right here. And then I'm just gonna accelerate as smooth as I can to the corner. And then as soon as I come around the corner, hopefully they'll launch off of me, and it's just a 200-meter sprint. So, and there they go to my right. And Sean Smith ends up getting the jump, and Johnny's in second, and then Jerome pops by him right at the line, so Johnny gets third. So, but you know, that's a great finish for him. It's really good for our team, just to practice that lead out. You know, it's invaluable, and there's a lot of races to come, and we can work that together. And we have a lot of success down south because we have a really strong team. Most of our guys are down south, so just to work together, get the cohesiveness, it's a lot of fun. Anyways, I'll post the 35 plus race next. See ya.